Okay, so welcome everybody. It is September 11th, 2017, and we have one of my favorite people on tonight, Robin Feisty Eisenbeis. We met a couple years ago. I actually met her upline at Q School, so I'm telling you guys, if you haven't been to Q School, you need to make sure you get there because that is where the magic happens and the friendships are really made with your sideline buddies. So I found out Robin was in North Carolina and Raleigh, an hour away from me, and we just started to connect. But what we really connected on was the Volvo on our way down to Orlando, where Kristen and Robin got to meet. I believe that was the first time you met Amy Meyer, too.
Yes, it was.
We've gone to Mars together, and Robin is an early bird, and I am not. So we drove 10 hours and maybe more. And hold on, anybody who's not muted, I need to make sure y'all are muted. Hold on. I think we're good. Okay, so it was fantastic. I mean,
oh good. I think it's muted.
Who isn't? Somebody's not muted.
Brittany and Tabitha, and Anna, if you can, Laura Matthews, if you guys can all mute yourself, they'll be awesome ladies.
Thank you for covering that. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, we took a 10-hour drive, and I learned so much about her. I don't think there was like a pause in speaking at all, so we learned a ton about one another. So I'm really excited. How is that happening? Okay, technical difficulties. It's a great Monday. Okay, so we learned a ton about each other, and we shared ideas, and I got to hear about Robin and how she raised her kids. And I tell you, she's probably one of the most amazing moms in the world. She just has given so much for them. But what I learned, and she'll tell you more in the story, is that she did lose a piece of herself, and she was determined to be a winning mom, and that's exactly what she is. This chick wakes up early in the morning, and she takes the day by the horns. She goes running, she rock climbs, she has a dog named Fender, and she's just probably, she knows my team. When we talk, she asks how my team is doing. She asks about Pam, she asks about Cassie, and I think that's a gift that we have in this business. So there is a bio, but I'm going to post it. I don't want to take any more airtime. I want you guys to hear her story and start writing down some questions for her, because this chick built to NMD in 3.5 years and 24 Club in 4.5. So we want to know what Robin Eisenbeis did.
Awesome. Thank you, Christy. And I just have to say also that I would do anything for Christy and Amy. They have been both so generous to my team. And I am, as Christy said, an early bird. So this is really late for me. I'm East Coast, 9 p.m. But I would do it for you in a heartbeat. So, and I'm fired up. So let me just tell you a little bit about my story. As Christy mentioned, it's been almost 5 years, which is crazy to even think about it. I've had really just fun careers. I was in hotel sales and marketing business for a while, and I was then an auctioneer. I'm a charity auctioneer now, and so I've heard a lot of stories, just especially in the antique world. Everything has a story. Little did I know that I would be incorporating that into what I'm doing now. And I'm learning to become an expert story listener and teller like Christy Nix, because it is really important. I mean, we are paid storytellers, and if you get really good at it, you can totally go to the top of this company. So as Christy mentioned, I have 3 children. They are now 21, 19, and almost 16. And for 17 years, I was home raising our children. My husband, he never likes to even talk about him. He's like, this is about you, but so much of it is us. And I love to say that I put Charlie through 17 years of medical training. It was MD, PhD. And I worked as an auctioneer during that time. I was working 80 hours a week. He was working 120, moonlighting, just trying to make some extra cash. It was crazy. And then we had our first child, Oliver. And I thought, this is, it was the first year I had a nanny, and I was really missing out a lot on just that first year. So I decided to stay home and did a few small businesses, but really was full-time. And then just to fill that void, I became what I like to call a community volunteer. And I literally volunteered everywhere I could. It made me feel worthwhile, not that a mom isn't, because we all know that that's the best job, but I really started feeling very underappreciated. I don't know if anybody's ever been in that mode, but they just keep asking. The better you get, the more they want from you. And I kind of felt the same way about being a mom. My kids are very athletic and very musically talented. And was anybody in St. Louis, did anybody hear my story on stage when I was made national market director? So I talked about that. I really just went into the shadows with my husband being an oncologist and my kids doing really well. It's kind of like, what am I really doing? And I knew I had a lot of talents. So when I heard about Juice Plus, it made sense to me, but I had what we like to call in this business the ITC syndrome. Do you know about that? I'm too cool for network marketing, and it's real. There was no way I wanted to do this business. I just fought it. And I actually even told my sponsor, I can't even believe I was one of those, as Christy likes to call me, one of those nasty reps. Kept saying, I'll let you know if I'm ever interested in doing this business. And, here I am 5 years later, well, at the time it took 3.5 years, but so I tell you that because you just never know. If you have people that keep saying, I don't want to sell. I'm way too busy with my kids. Just keep loving on them. And that's what my sponsor did. She kept inviting me to events, even though I kept saying no. But what she didn't know, and I didn't know at the time, was my husband's medical practice actually closed. So here we are with 3 kids in private school. And I thought, wow, I've been home for 17 years. What in the world? How are we going to financially afford to be able to continue with what we're doing? And so that ITC syndrome went away very quickly because I thought, you know what? I can actually make some money doing this business. And I worked with my national marketing director, Dr. Kim Dalzell, who is amazing. Many of you have probably heard her present before. She is a registered dietitian, expert in cancer disease prevention, and she just understood the way I think. I mean, I am so business-minded from my parents. I was raised very entrepreneurial family, and we needed to make some extra money. So I literally just did everything that she said. If she said she was coming to town and she said, you need to get 40 people in the chairs, I got 40 people in the chairs. I had to invite over, almost 200 people, but I got 40 people there. And that's what I really encourage you to do, is trust your sponsors. Amy and Christy, they've done this. When they are coming to town, just have the utmost respect for them, because it doesn't happen. It's hard, right, for you both to get away with your busy careers and family. And so I was just really motivated. I got to the VP fast track VF very quickly, and it was kind of like I'd reach a goal and then I'd say, what's next? And I grew up as an athlete, so I really recommend, if you can find athletes, there's something about them when they set their goals, they get it, and they are used to being coached. And so I just kept working my way up, and it wasn't one of those straight line success stories. It went pretty straight, but there were a few times when I went off track, and it was kind of frustrating, right? I'm sure some of you have been there, where maybe you thought you'd reach a promotion by a conference and it didn't happen. I really encourage you, if that happens, just to talk to your sponsors, find a coach, read some books. I'm going to actually talk about, I have a whole stack here of my favorite tools that I like to use. But try to get out of that as quickly as you can, because it's not serving anybody when you start thinking small, right? So I became a student. I worked really hard on myself, which I never knew I would need to do in this business. I had never been in network marketing before, but as we all know, and many of you I know have been in the business for a few years, isn't it crazy how much we have to change to really get to those new levels? I just never expected that. So I want to show you a few things. So if you have kids, I encourage you to have them get involved. And I did this for my kids, as Christy said. My youngest daughter, her name is Dorrit, she made me all these like awesome cards. And every time I would go for promotion, so if you don't have a child, or it could be your spouse or your partner, whoever it is, but open when you're doubting yourself. Open when you're feeling stressed. And then it was like open when when you reach QNMD. And so these sat by my bed every single night. I'd go to bed and I'm like, when am I going to reach QNMD? And so the last one was, and this makes me cry, open when NMD. And I read this on stage, and I haven't read this in a long time, but so there's her letter, and she said, Mom, wow, you did it. I knew all this time that you could definitely do it. And at the time she was 12, let's see, no, it was a year ago. She's 15, 16, so she was 14. You have come so far and have helped so many people. You have worked so hard and did great. Congratulations, Dorrit. This kept me going. And so I just encourage you, and if you need your NMDs to write you cards, whoever it is, just ask for it, because it really helps to get you to pick up that phone, to make another, plan another event. So when I was on stage in St. Louis a year ago, I had my family up there, my dad, he's going to be 85, my mom is turning 81. And when I shared my story with all of them up there, the feeling of just that I was so proud, and I got off the stage, and my son, who was 20 at the time, he just gave me the biggest hug and kiss. And he said, Mom, I am so proud of you. And I was like, wow, as a winning mom, to hear that from a 20-year-old, that's a pretty big deal. So the other awesome thing, and I know all of you know this, but one thing that I didn't realize is how awesome our benefit package is. So as I mentioned, my husband at the time, his practice closed. He did get another job actually very quickly, probably within a month and a half. But meanwhile, I was already on my second promotion, and I was like, you know what? Just in case it doesn't work, I have a plan B. So when I reached National Marketing Director, we compared my benefits package with the hospital's benefits package, and I was blown away at how much better the Juice Plus benefits package is than his hospital benefits package. So I love now when we go to the dentist, my kid, we have, they each have their own cards. They pull out the card. This is my mom's insurance card, and it's amazing. So just keep working hard every single day. Just say, you know what, I'm doing this long term. It's going to happen. And so I want to now get into attending events, especially so locally. I don't know I know where some of you live, but regional events are so key. So I had just joined the business, and I heard about a regional event that was 45 minutes away. And I got in the car and went to it because I knew this was, because as a business owner, you need to invest in yourself, and you need to attend events and meet people that have these big visions. Well, the person I met, the very first person, I actually met Kelly Prohl and Courtney O'Donnell and Tanya Oxley and David Phillips. They were all my very first regional. I was on fire. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like the coolest company, coolest people, huge visions, big hearts. But what Tanya said that just totally imprinted in my head was, you want to go wide and you want to go deep. How many people have heard that before? So yeah, double hands, right, Kristen? So I literally, and I got it. She showed a genealogy picture of a team that was really wide. So when I reached National Marketing Director, I was 10 sales coordinators wide. I need 5. and I was very deep, and I was 12 club. So and the reason I tell you that is because sometimes when you go in and you're, just like, I just need to hit 5, that's all I need. Well, what if something happens to that 5th sales coordinator? Life happens. And then you're at 4. And it's like, that's not where you want to be. You work so hard to get there. So go in as strong as you can. And what I did, and I still recommend this for my team, we had a program that was called a 5-1. So every month, my goal was to get 5 new customers, 1 team member. And when I look at my genealogy, I mean, I'm, much wider than that, but because not everybody, some people just want to be friends and family, right? And that's totally fine. But those that do want to work, I mean, I worked hard with them, and then we started building down. So it's so key. If you just really focus on go wide and go deep, every single day, just wake up and say, go wide and go deep. You will have a solid business that will keep you really solid forever, okay? All right, let me see. Then the second big thing that I learned at that regional was to attend conference, non-negotiable. And so that was in February. In April, we had the first conference I went to was in Long Beach, California. My sponsor didn't even go. I flew out there alone. I had no team that went with me. I really didn't get the whole picture yet. But within the first minute, so Dr. Kim Dalzell met me at a breakfast. She came out, and we met Jeff Roberti and Bob Burdick. And if you've been in the industry, within a minute, I met those 2 powerhouse people. And they were just, welcome to the mission, Robin. We're so excited to meet you. I'm like, oh my. And then later I found out who they were. I'm like, wow, that is so cool. But that's how this business is. You get to conference, and then you have your sponsors introduce you to people and ask them questions. To every national marketing director you meet, or anybody above your promotion, your position, think of questions that you want to ask them. If they could do something different, and when they started out, what would they do differently? How did they build their, how did they go deep? All these, what kind of events worked for them? Who do they know? Maybe they have people that live in your region that could really help you. So the other awesome thing, has everybody been to a conference? If you haven't, raise your hand if you haven't been to one. All right, so there's a few. Well, hopefully you're planning to go to Indianapolis. Is that a yes? Awesome, Carly. Amy? Can't hear you, but hopefully. Okay, M. Garcia is a yes. Very good. So I'm going to talk about conference in a second in more detail, but that first conference I went to, I remember hearing Emma Snedden. I don't know if you know her, she's from the UK, and she was just talking, and I remember she said in her beautiful voice, if I can do it, you can do it. And I thought, you know what? I know it. I know, because she told me who she was, and I thought, you know what? I know I can do this. So I really encourage you, get to conference, because it will be a game changer. And with that being said, I want to tell you about how many people have heard of Eric Worre with GoPro? Many of you, right? Okay. So I had the opportunity just a month ago, actually a month today, tomorrow, to fly to Las Vegas, and I attended this Beyond Leadership training. That it was amazing. I had no idea how many people would be there. I thought maybe 500, maybe 1,000. I wasn't sure. There were only 100 of us with Eric Worre for 4 days. And I actually signed up for the VIP package. Should I say how much it was, Christy? Okay. All right. So I don't know if you've ever had these experiences where maybe you're at a training and the speaker is talking about, okay, this is a program that I have coming up, and in your mind, you kind of think about how much money you'd be willing to spend. And I always like to relate this back to our Juice Plus business, because as we know, it's only $50, right, to own your own business. That could be $1 million business, depending on how you treat it. So in my mind, and I know this will probably just blow people away, but I thought, I would spend 5 days with Eric Worre. I'd spend $10,000, because I knew that $10,000, if I could have a total, focus time with him, that I could, over a year, 2 years, make 100,000 with his training. Because we all know, I mean, his book, I don't even know how many millions of copies it's been. I mean, it's huge. So he said the general admission would be 5,000 for the first 4 days. And I thought, I'm not general admission. I'm total VIP. Extra 5,000 for that 5th day. And it was totally worth it. I learned so much just from him, but also just working with people that have such big goals. And that's what I really want to encourage you is hang around people that are planning to make 50,000 a month, 100,000 a month. I mean, these people that I met, some people are making $200,000, $300,000 a month. And there were 9 people from the Juice Plus company that were there, which of the 100, that was a really high percentage. So the biggest, okay, so I have a couple notes that I wanted to share with you. The golden nugget that he said, and I had always heard this, but I just needed to hear it from him, I think, is the best thing you can do to increase your business is to promote for conference. If you had 1 person at your last conference, get 5 at Indianapolis conference, and then get 10 for Phoenix. So I'm going big. I'm going for, I said 50. I'm really hoping I can do that, which is huge. So Wendy Vance, who is a national marketing director in our company, she attended a GoPro event, and she was 12 Club at the time. In 2 years, she went from 12 Club to 75 Club. She actually had 3 people at that first conference, and 2 years later, she had 100 people at the conference. It's the power of getting people to see the bigger vision. So I really, really encourage you, grab friends. Who do you know in Indianapolis that could easily just hop in the car and get to conference? That's what you need to do right now is, tonight, tomorrow, make a list. Who do you know in that area that you can get to conference? And then, and commit. And do not buy their tickets. That's the other thing he said. You do not need to pay for these people to go, because you're setting an example. If you start paying for them to go to conference, then they're going to need to feel like they need to do that with their team, and it's going to seem not possible, right? It's just like a business meeting. They pay, it's not that much money. You can room with people. Maybe they live there, and they can just drive in. So that is number 1. And then number 2 is I really want to encourage you to think about yourself. Are you an influencer? So who do you hang out with? When people are, when you're posting things on social media, are you helping people? And I'm looking at many of you, and you are. So that's huge. This is an awesome team. But you're influencers. You are problem solvers. You're helping people figure out what can they do to make one simple change. You help them create action, the shred. I mean, how perfect is it that we have the shred that can help people take action and make that one simple change and start seeing results? Create a strong vision. Do you have an ability to infuse vision into others? And I love that term, that infuse. If you really think about it, and you can help people see what they cannot see. So maybe you have some team members that I know that Kim Dalzell saw so much more in me than I saw in myself at the time. Like I said, I was kind of in the shadows, but she knew that if she kept coaching me and, challenging me and setting my bar higher, that I would reach that top position. And I did. And I know many of you have that same potential. So trust when Christy and Amy say, you know what, you can make this promotion. I mean, we have 2.5 weeks left of the month. It's still possible. In the summer surge, we have somebody that we know that made $2,850 in one day with the summer surge. She had a huge event, and she just got a whole bunch of fast track VFs, and then she fast tracked a sales coordinator, and she made $2,850. So if you are fired up and you want to walk the stage in St. Louis, How many are close? How many are like working toward a big promotion? Yeah. Awesome. I love that. I mean, 2.5 weeks is a long time. It's totally doable. And if any of you want to reach out to me, I'm happy to, just hear what you're doing and see if I can give you some ideas. Maybe if we have time at the end too. And then have a rigid getting started program. Christy, we have an awesome new rep launch. You've shared that with your team, right? Yeah, it's fabulous. And that's what Eric said is you have to have a new rep launch for everybody so everybody can duplicate what we're doing. Because we want to be there to welcome people, but we can't be there for everything, right? So you really have to take the steps, learn how to launch your reps, and then teach them to do the same thing. Duplication and mentorship, and then some of us are doing a 20 and 30 September campaign. Any of you doing that? Do you know about it? Some of you might. Okay, Kristen, good. It's really scary. Okay, okay, I'm going to answer questions in a second. It's scary, but you know what? It's really fun. I have on my whiteboard over here a list of 20 blanks, okay? I'm at 2. I have 18 still to go. But you know what? I'm shooting for it because I'm really hopeful. What if we could just do this massive push right now and let's say we get 10 brand new reps in September and you get them to go to conference with you? Can you imagine how your business is going to change in the next 2 months, 6 months? It's going to be huge. So, all right, I still have so much more to go. Do I have a few more minutes? Okay. All right. All right. So just a couple of my favorite tools that I love to use. I keep Jim Rohn in my car all the time. If you've never listened to him before, download him on your iPhone. Get a CD. Really, really good. These are some of my favorite books. The 7 Levels of Communication. This is by Michael Maher, and he talks about relationship building. And I actually started this one thing in here that I really liked. He's talking about building your online community. And I don't know about you, but it's so easy when you go on to Facebook, Instagram, to get sucked in, right? And we all have a huge Juice Plus community, and it's fun to see who's doing what. But is that really moving our businesses forward? Not at all, right? I mean, you might get ideas, but what he says here is approach your online community the same way you approach your offline community. Start with a plan. Organize them in a way that allows you to check on the most valuable people in your community first. And I know Christy knows how to do this, so she can help you with that. If your clients and ambassadors are on social media, check on them every day. Friends and family members can be less. But how true is that? If you have your target dream list, you want to know what they're up to. So you can change, to put their stars, so you see them first. And I actually need to change it because I have a couple of my favorite people that I'm always, and they're Juice Plus people because I want to see what they're up to, but it's not moving us forward. Lauren Slocum, people probably know her. She's 42 national marketing directors in the Juice Plus business. And this book, Life Tune-Ups, Your Personal Plan to Find Balance, Discover Your Passion, and Step into Greatness. This is a really awesome book. She just spoke in Cary about 2 months ago, and she's just amazing. So if you want to follow people, she's definitely one to follow. I mean, her posts are incredible. And then this one, I'm about halfway through, but I learned about this from Julie and Joel Herbst. Joel Herbst gave this book to Julie for her birthday. It's called The One Thing by Gary Keller. And I've been actually listening to this on my runs in the morning. It's really good because it's so, I don't know if you're like me, but my to-do list has always been super long and it gets overwhelming, right? But if you think, what is the one thing that I can do today that is going to move my business forward? For me, it's working on my 20 and 30. That is huge. If I can just focus on that, I know that my business is going to be different in, 6 months, 3 months. So, and then finally, the last thing, Success Magazine. My son gave this to me for Christmas a couple years ago. It's like $30 a year. It's a great Christmas gift. This issue, it's called Go Big, Brendan Burchard. So I love this. His quote in here is, so hang on one second. Let me just find the actual quote so I can say it exactly. So everybody says, I want to change, but they're not willing to pay the price of it. That was a metaphor of life's golden ticket. Life is some kind of a ride, and if you want that ride to be exhilarating and amazing, you've got to pay to get in. And the price, a willingness to change, and the price is a willingness to change above and beyond what most people will do. So I'm going to end with that, but I'd love to take any questions. And if you want to unmute yourself, I think there's a couple. Okay. So how did you get your team to build deep? That is a great, can you all hear me? Yeah, okay. That's a great question. Okay, so is it Marcy? I don't even know. Oh, it's Kelsey. Okay. So you really have to pay attention to your organizational chart. You have to look at it and see who's close. So when there's somebody getting close to 90 PVCs in a month, that is counted as a working line, right? So when you reach out, so if you see a sales coordinator or even a VF, and they're wanting to move their business forward, you want to start talking the language with them. Okay, let's talk about who else do you know? Do these people really understand? Have we connected with them? Because maybe those people are just have 90 points from their own orders. Well, if you start talking with them and say, especially right now, if you could just get 1 or 2 more people, and then you can get your fast track VF, you could earn an extra $350. There's a working line. So that's your one line. Then you look, who else you know? And you just start really focusing. What my sponsor did is she would draw pictures. So we'd have myself and then just like little lines. And it would be, Susie and Bill and Barb, and then 3 extra blank circles. And she would say, okay, who do you know that might be interested? And, I'd start making that dream list. And then you just reach out to those people. It is amazing when you are crystal clear and focused on that, how you can build those lines. Did that answer that question? All right. Who else has some questions?
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. I was just hoping, could you tell me the names of the book and the authors again?
Absolutely.
Can I just have you take a photo, Robin, and I can post it?
Yeah.
Oh,
Would that
Yep,
be
perfect. Yep,
okay.
perfect.
I want
That's
those.
good idea.
I had a plan.
Yeah. Let's see, what other questions?
So what's your system? How are you bringing in 10 sales coordinators direct to you? Like, how are you doing that?
Anybody who was ready to go, I just worked with them. We had events, number one, you need to find out, why are they doing this business? You need to ask them, because if they're, kind of lukewarm about it, and it's funny because I look back, I created a big vision for all these people even before I really even knew the possibility. But I think because I heard so many people talk, I attended every event, and I would just say, let's do this. Let's have events. We really built our team on events. So if in person events, I know a lot of people do Facebook and three-way connection calls, which are also awesome. And I did that a lot with my sponsors. But we would get 20, 30 people at events, and it was just like people were just signing up. And so that helped a lot. And I think, just helping people see where they are and how close they are, and just getting people that that gain right away, that first $100 paycheck. I remember when I got it, I was like, all right, let's go shopping, girls. And then I got that 250 bonus. And every 5-1, we got a bonus because there's companies always doing different bonuses. I worked those bonuses hard, and I helped my team do the same thing. So, yeah, I believed in people. I think that's the other thing, Christy, is I just assumed everybody's going to make it. I didn't think otherwise. I did. So I think if you believe in people and just say, let's do this. Let's reach sales coordinator and then make senior sales coordinator and just keep going on up. People need to know that we believe they can do it, right? What other questions do you have?
I have another one if nobody has anything.
Awesome.
So you mentioned that you did three-way connection calls with your sponsor from the very beginning.
Yes.
That was something that I was never taught to do. And then finally, when we were going for NMD, we started doing them and it was magic. But there's this thing in most people's heads. So can you tell me when you first heard about it, what your thought process was, how you did it anyways, if it, the good, the bad, the ugly, and how you continue to do it now?
So I had an advantage that my sponsors, one is a physician and one is a registered dietitian. So, and that's not my strength at all. I don't have that background. So it was every time I'd meet somebody that I just knew would connect better with them, it was just like, well, of course I could, reach out. So maybe I should answer it, why would somebody connect with me? Because and some people, I think are afraid that we might be too salesy, like they don't want this to be like a sales call, which is not at all. I actually just had a really great three-way call with a brand new 18-year-old rep today out in Colorado, Lakewood, Colorado. And it was just so fun talking with him because I just asked him a lot of questions. And he told me, I asked him about his passions, and he's really into helping kids with cancer. And he told me how money wasn't a motivator for him, but he was a former football player and former wrestler. So again, I'm like, okay, I'm thinking like an athlete. And I said, okay, money is not an issue, which we all know it is for everybody, even though people say it's not, right? But what if you could reach Fast Track VF by the end of this month, earn an extra $450 that you could gift several kids who are suffering from cancer Juice Plus. I mean, it was just like, he got so excited. And my rep who connected us was just really happy because she never thought about that before. So I just encourage you to trust your sponsor and just do it. Just make the three-way call. And I keep it short. Mine are 20 minutes maximum, and I think that's plenty of time. I cast the vision, I ask a lot of questions, and that's about it. So, yeah.
So Robin, I heard you say like build wide, build deep, talking about influencers and things that were really brought up this past week or month when you were with Eric Worre and that crew. Mm-hmm. What would be the top 3 things that you think you took away from that were, I guess, I was going to say money-making activities, but inspiration too, I suppose?
That's a great question. Well, number 1 definitely is just build for conference. I mean, above and beyond everything else. I used to be happy with like 20 reps, and that's not enough because I want to go to Europe. I want to do this big, 100 club trip. So we need more people there, and we need, okay, so that's number 1 is just build for conference. Number 2 is to really look at your team. And I did this, and it kind of shocked me. Okay, I don't have any team members on here, but to think about, okay, who are the influencers? And are they really continuing to build wide and deep? And if not, why not? So really connect with them and challenge them and say, okay, I know you're an influencer, but you need to step up. You have this huge opportunity. Nobody's being served by you thinking small, right? Let's see. The third I would say is just spending time with such big thinkers. Oh my gosh. I mean, I've always thought, gosh, and I don't even want to throw a number out there of what I've been thinking, per month. It's so small. I mean, it makes me cry what we have our hands on and then what we can do. And just thinking so much bigger. It's real. And sorry, this is the last thing. And I'm so glad I just happened to think about this. We have such an awesome company. I heard, because at the last day, it was really cool. We had one-on-ones with Eric, but we all heard, we sat in a big like U shape. And so it was almost like you're on trial with Eric. And we went up in front and we had 2 questions that we could ask him. And then he would give us feedback. And most of the other distributors or reps on other companies were talking about, oh my gosh, I couldn't even believe the politics that happened. CEOs coming and going like overnight, people like huge lines being taken away from reps, by people going from one company to another. And this dishonesty, I'm like, it is so unlike our Juice Plus business that has the highest level of ethics. I mean, I was blown away. I had never, because this is my first and only network business. And I just thought, I never even knew that existed. So those are my 4 top things, Kristen. Yeah. I really recommend, check it out. Go online. He has one coming up November. It's a flyer right here. I'll take a picture of this too. Hang on, where is it? November
16th?
16th, yeah. 16th through 18th. It's with Eric Worre, Tony Robbins, and Pitbull. And Lauren Slocum bought I think like a huge pack of like maybe 200. So it's a really reasonable price. It's like, how much is it? Do you remember, Christy, what I said? It's like
last year I paid like $350 and
yeah.
went on Jeff Roberti's pack, and it was incredible.
Yeah, it's around like $300. Totally worth it. So I would now again, there's gonna be probably 10,000 people there. It will be a totally different experience, but you're learning from the best. So if you can get there, I would recommend it. What other questions? You guys have an awesome team.
How about your DMO? What's your DMO look like? That's always something
I go by the mission-driven model, the 2x2x2x2. I use the mission-driven model, and it's something I didn't mention all the time. My team uses it. Every day it's just, I want to focus on, the 2 new customers, 2 new prospects team, and just keep that focus. So that's my DMO. And to really plan, obviously Sunday nights, if you can plan for the week, because otherwise the week gets ahead of you, right? And then not a whole lot happens. But get out, meet with people. I spent some time at a coffee shop this morning. You just have to get out. I know Christy just signed up a new team member. She met yesterday. I mean, you just had to be out of the house and talk with people. Yeah, the missiondrivenmodel.info has everything that we need. Oh, let's see, Mooney, Colorado. Awesome. He lives in Lakewood. Is that close to? Oh, and I have a question. I almost forgot. Yeah, I'll definitely connect you. We can connect Christy, that person. Okay, so I have a new rep in San Diego who's in is it Miramar base? It's a Marine base. Anybody have team in that area? San Diego Marine base. I thought this would be the group.
Andrea Palm, are you on here? She's one I can connect you with.
Okay, awesome. Yeah,
anybody in San Diego, right? Or Sideline Buddies too?
Yeah, and I actually reached out to Margie today. So yeah, that would be great. So any San Diego people. And that's the thing, I mean, really take advantage of our Sideline Buddies because, again, we have such a giving community And we all know it's much more fun. Christy and I, how many events? We had so much fun doing events together. I'm so sad you've moved, or you are moving. Well, yeah, you're not really. You've moved from North Carolina. But you know, you connect with people that you love and that you have a similar energy, and events just become life-changing. Yeah. Awesome.
Oh, Robin, thank you so much. Is there anybody else before we let this early bird go to bed? She's taking one for the team.
Yeah.
Well,
I'll send you pictures of all the books.
That'd be great. And if you can send a picture of the flyer too, and then I can put it on our Team PCS Team Trigger page. And yeah, Robin, thank you so much. You killed it as always. And you're just a fun person to be mentored by and to do this life with. So thank you.
Oh, you are welcome. All right. Well, love you. I'll see you all in Indianapolis. Come up to me. I want to personally meet you if I haven't met you. And I had to say, this is the most attentive team, honestly. I feel like a student teacher, but most people, like when they're, you know, when I'm doing a Zoom training, I shouldn't say most, but there's a lot of teams and they're just not really listening. And you all were just awesome. So thank you. That means a lot to me. So I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate
all right. Okay. Bye, everybody. Your goals. Okay.